Hi, welcome to Rescued Goodies. I'm Travis, and I'd like to talk today about the end of summer slump and how my sales have been pretty poor lately on eBay, and I hear a lot of people complaining about that as well. And what am I trying to do about it? The end of summer around August was pretty slow. It's typically rather slow, but it was very slow for me this year, 2024. My August sales were only 2/3 what my July sales had been, and it was being pretty painful. But I was just chugging away and hoping that once school got back in session and everybody got out of summer vacation mode, things would start to pick up again. But about a week into September, and things were even worse. So I decided I needed to do something about this and couldn't just keep doing more of the same. So I'm just going to give you kind of a story about what I've been doing and keep you updated on the results. But first, let me show you a few items that sold. First up, we got Shark Navigator lift-away vacuum cleaner replaceable hose and handle. I got this for $25. I got the whole vacuum from a Goodwill. And I paid that much because I knew I could part out the pieces and make a lot more. So this sold for $29.95 plus shipping. Next up, I sold this Blockus Trigon board game. If you're familiar with the Blockus game, this one is very similar, except all the pieces are made up of tiny triangles instead of tiny squares. Sold for $29.95. It's 100% complete. And it's not exactly a rare game, but it's an uncommon enough bolo that it goes for decent money. I paid just $3 for that at a Goodwill. Next was a little interesting item, Aero Products Research Incorporated flight computer with manual. I noticed a lot of different models of this exist and go for different prices, but about $25 plus shipping is pretty common. I lowered the price of mine a couple of times over the course of several months until it finally sold for $22.02. And I paid $4 for that at a Goodwill. And then we have, I don't want to take them out of the plastic, but we got a Millennium Furby Y2K edition, special edition, but it is broken. He doesn't move at all, but he's pretty clean, no damage, looks great. And I managed to sell them for $9.95 plus shipping, going international. And whenever something's broken, I try to put it in the title and the description, of course. But even then, I like to contact the buyer and just double check that they were aware it's broken, there's no returns, no guarantee it could be fixed. And did they understand that? And do they still want to proceed with the transaction? Or if not, I offer to cancel. No problem whatsoever. And thankfully they decided to take it. And I got this little Furby just last week for $1 at a church yard sale. Okay, so sales aren't doing too good. What am I going to do about it? Well, I did a couple things. First thing was to get really gung-ho and give a renewed effort in my sourcing and my listing. I've never had much of a problem with having a big death pile. But sometimes, 20, 30 things start piling up. But I decided to make a concerted effort for a couple solid weeks to really get through everything and to also spend much more time sourcing, but to also pay more attention when I'm sourcing. Be more methodical, slow myself down, be sure to be more curious about things, stuff that I would kind of think in the past, oh no, I don't want to deal with that. I'd slow down, take the time to actually look at it, look up a lot more things. And I wound up spending about twice as much time in the thrift stores as usual. And a lot of that wasn't necessarily great because a lot of times I didn't find all that much. But I just kept going at it, making an effort, and making sure I was listing things consistently and keeping on top of all my other things. Now, a few personal things had to be put to the side. I had to turn down a couple invitations to go out for lunch with people. The The laundry piled up a little bit, and the dishes too. There were a couple days the dog didn't get walked. I just tried to focus as much as I could on being real good with my sourcing, going to smaller shops I hadn't been to in a while, and making sure I was actually getting things listed pretty aggressively. So that's the first thing I did. I'm like, am I doing the basic stuff as thoroughly as I can? Not to say that I was slacking before, but the very first thing I should do to try to fix the slow sale problem is to make sure I'm going gung-ho as possible on the basics. And I did a few other things as well, but first a few more sales I'll show you. Here we got a Magnavox combination DVD VCR player. This is the DV225 MG9. I sold the M69, I think it was, a couple weeks ago as well. For this one, I got $59.97 plus shipping. It came with the remote from the store, but for the first time ever, even though the terminals on the remote were clean, it just didn't work, which is a shame, but I still got my full asking price for this. And it sold pretty quick to it. And I paid $10, or no, it was $12 or $13. But I knew it would sell really fast, and it did. Next item, we got an Aircast Cryo Cuff knee wrap cold compression water bottle thingy. Basically, this is a cooler where you put ice water in it, and it runs down through this tube into a wrap that you can put around a knee or a shoulder or whatnot. And I only paid $3 for this. Sold it. I took a best offer, sold it for $45. I sold another just like it just a week or two ago for $48. These are awesome because the thrift shops often don't know what they are. They might mistakenly think that they're just drink coolers, and they'll just put it with the water coolers, you know, and sell it cheap. You need to be careful though, because although these gravity-fed cooling products are still allowed on eBay as far as September 2024 goes, electrical powered ones, the Berg Polar Care Cube, for example, which you should not try to sell. It's a shame. When I first started reselling about 3 years ago, I would find these sorts of things all the time, and you can still find a lot of them for $10 or $15 in the thrift shops. And I would flip them really fast for $100 or $120, but they are no longer allowed on eBay technically, which is frustrating because you'll still see plenty of them sell pretty quickly. Don't do it. I don't do it. People do get lucky enough to post it and sell it before eBay's system can flag it and get it taken down. But if you rely on your eBay account for a significant chunk of your income, I would not risk it. So this video is starting to get a little long, so I'm going to wait until another video to get into more of the details of other things I have done. But really quick, I'll just mention I started more seriously cross-listing. I started using this service called Flip, F-L-Y-P, that helps you cross-list to other platforms, and I've moved or copied 100 of my eBay listings over to Mercari. And I've also started using a service to look for retail arbitrage opportunities and hot viral items that could be flipped for a good profit. And I've been spending way too much time probably looking at this Deal Soldier program or service and running around to stores based off of what it's telling me to look for. I'll get into all of those and give you basically reviews of those services and options at a later time. I've also put the oldest half of my inventory on a 25% off clearance sale. I've been sending offers multiple times a day to watchers, and after all these 2 weeks of concerted effort, what has been the result? Basically no change. So am I doing something wrong, or is it just the time of year cannot be fought? Regardless, I'm glad I've been doing it. I'll continue to do it, continue to look for new options, and I'll give you updates. So thanks for your time and attention. Please let me know what you think below, and we'll see you later.